You are listening to the Region 5 Gymnastics Insider Podcast, Episode 1. Today we're talking Region 5 Championships, Fight for Flight, Rise of the Triple Series, trends in judging, and a special guest is joining us to discuss the NCAA Championships.
I'm a Region 5, we are burning fire. Say 1, 2, ready or not, here I come, coming in hot. I'ma take my body for a spin.
Hey everybody, Jason McDonald here, Editor-in-Chief of the Region 5 Gymnastics Insider. And joining me are Insider admins Kim Dowis.
Hi everyone there in Region 5 land.
And Jason Buttons.
Hailing from Louisville, Kentucky, and proud lifetime gymnast from the Buttons Up.
Welcome to our first Region 5 Insider Podcast presented by Speeth America and Enter Gym Music. The show notes for this episode can be found on our website at region5gyminsider.com. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube for future podcasts and more gymnastics content from the best region in the country. All our social media links can be found in our show notes. Region 5 has named their 2018 JO National and Eastern Championship Dream Teams, and we're going to fill you in on what went down at the Kellogg Arena 2 weeks ago at the Region 5 Championships. This was the first time we hosted our Level 9 and 10 championships at Kellogg, and I thought it was an awesome venue for the competition. I felt that Branch did an awesome job hosting the event, and except for having the scores being posted on that big board between the two gyms, which was a little bit of distraction. I know everyone kind of watched and tried to see where they were. I think it went well, and it was well organized.
You thought it was a distraction?
I thought it was a distraction. I don't like looking at scores. I'm one that does not like looking. I'll look at the end of the meet, but it was hard for me not to. I tried very hard not to.
Well, in the past, they've always had the live scoring on either side of the gym, so I constantly was like walking over to go look at it, and it was nice to just be able to look up and see it. Plus, the app was working really well, so you're able to check it that way. But I don't know. I think it's important to know where you're standing. That's just me.
That's Branch's thing though. They always do the scores like that up on the screen for every meet. They did it for Level 9 Easterns also. But
and 7-8 regionals last year.
But normally they take the scoring down after the third rotation, and they weren't doing that. They messed that up a couple times. Not every time. A couple times they messed that up. They weren't taking it down. So I think that's when it became a problem for the coaches, is when they weren't taking it down. But it's kind of fun to have it up there. Then the parents can just look across.
No, I think complete opposite. I hate it. I liked when the TV screens, because you'd have to actually go over there and see the scores, which then obviously keeps me from looking. I've never really wanted to know, even as an athlete, where I stood. I was just all about just competing and kind of being in the moment and doing my gymnastics, not worrying about it. And that's kind of what I tell our kids, but it was hard not to look. I mean, I pretty much was looking the entire time. Now, I did like it when I was doing strictly media, because I could look and see and make sure what it is. And I know, Kim, that's obviously easier for you on the floor, because we can, make sure we know who's going to nationals and what have you. But as a coach, it was kind of a distraction. But, it was cool, though. I mean, like I said, I think that just, added to it. But were there anything else that stood out from the competition in terms of the venue and the organization by Branch that we need to mention?
I love Branch. I love going to Meet the Branch. I go to Meet the Branch all the time. It's one of my favorite meet sites to go to. It has great, seating for the parents. I like how they're all up above and not down close to the kids. I just like it.
Yeah, good viewing. Everything ran on time. Very smooth meet. No real hiccups. That's good.
Yeah,
I like the arena feel too. I mean, a lot of times we have it in a convention center or what have you, and having that arena feel just makes it more like a championship meet. So
sure.
After 4 days of competition, we had all our Dream Team tickets punched and ready to move on to represent Region 5 at Easterns or JO Nationals. Let's start breaking down the age groups, starting off with the 12 age groups in Level 10. The junior and senior A's will be the first to compete at JO Nationals in 2 weeks, so we will begin with the junior A's. Sydney Jellin from Legacy Elite, 2017 JO National Qualifier, won this age group with a 37.6. Joining Sydney will be two other 2017 qualifiers in Katie Harper from Universal Gymnasts and Elizabeth Ganter from JPAC, along with 4 talented newbies, Kendall Ebney from Twistars, Taylor DeFries from Legacy Elite, Kaya Tekansinen, I can never say their last name, Kim is probably going to kill me, from Michigan Elite, and Riley Pitts from World Class. I'm always interested in this group because each year they, for the most part, the majority are always new qualifiers, and it's interesting to watch as they take in the competition. Big eyes, sometimes very overwhelmed. This group has a lot of potential, and I'm sure the 3 returning veterans would like to improve upon and maybe forget their 6th place finish last year at JO Nationals. Last year, Region 1 was the champion in this age group, and it looks to be the front runner based on the regional results for this championship. It will be a fun one to kick off the championship. A fact to point out that in the Junior A competition, former Legacy Elite gymnast Amari Drayton moved to Texas last year, just after winning our Level 9 state meet last year. She's a member of the Region 3 Junior A team. Amari is a very talented gymnast and could be one to watch out for this particular all-around title. Senior A's will be led by future Michigan State Spartan Emma Pritchard from Gym Extreme. Emma has battled injuries over the course of this season, but is peaking at the right time, just under a 38 at regionals with a 37.825. She was 6th in the all-around last year at JO Nationals. Danny Petrosic from Rockford, Delaney Harkness from Twistars, a former JO National all-around champion, and Anna Grace McCullough, who's better known as AG in our region from Branch Gymnastics, all have JO National experience to help pace this particular team. Olivia Rapp from Universal Gymnasts, Kendall George from Buckeye, and Brooke Conley from Gymnasti round out the team, and each will compete at their very first JO Nationals. Region 1 was the Senior A champion last year in 2017 and are looking strong again this year. This group includes 2017 JO National All-Around Champion and this year's Nastia Cup champion Haley Bryant from Everest in Region 8. She is one of the favorites to watch. She's one of my favorites to watch in the JO program, as well as Carly Bauman from Chow's Gymnastics, 2017 Junior Nastia Cup champion, and she was 2nd to Haley last year at JO Nationals. So this would be a tough duo to beat for the all-around title. Coming into Nationals, Region 7 looks to be the top one to pace the overall, based on overall regional rankings for their top 7 athletes. But I look forward to the outcome of this first session for sure as we get kicked off, and it's always fun to start off that first session as strong as possible.
The Junior Bs, they are a combination of 2 veterans and 5 first-time qualifiers and a couple first-year level 10s. The team will be led by Elena Carl from Naperville. She is pretty strong on vault and floor, great tumbling, Yurchenko full. She won the all-around 37.8. Followed by, we have Sarah Morrow from Champion USA, who kind of flies under the radar a little bit. But last year, she was a 2nd alternate to Junior A, and this year, she made the team in a big way. She's the regional beam champion, and she's super strong all over the gym. She's improved all over the gym for this year. Her strongest events, I would say, are beam and floor. She has beautiful dance execution. She can do 11 beam skills connected in a row, which is pretty crazy, just for fun. Sage Kellerman from All-American Flames. Again, this is her first time qualifying to nationals. Last year, she was looking strong, but had a fall off the beam that held her from making the team. So this year, she's improved all over the gym, kind of changed around some of her skills, and she definitely looks ready to go and make an impact. Another one of our veterans is Reese Samuelson from GAR. She was a competitor in 2016 at JO Nationals, and she's dabbled in the elite scene for a little bit. She's very strong on bars, being the regional champion there. Paige Thaxton from Michigan Academy. This is her first time qualifying, and it's also her first year as a level 10. And she is the cutest little kid. She's always smiling, strong tumbling, great beam skills, front tuck, round off double full. That's high and beautiful. So she's ready and raring to go there. Lily Clapper and Mila Brush They both are first-time qualifiers, first-time level 10s. They both were Eastern national competitors last year. And a cool thing about them is they also have their sisters competing at championships. Um, it's Lily's first time. It's Leah Clapper's last one, so that's kind of special for them. Compared to the other regions, um, I think it's gonna these kids look really good compared to like the other regions. I think could be a fight between us and Region 7. They have some high all around scores going in and some talented kids also. Last year, our junior Bs finished fourth. Region 3 actually won. So it's going to be a very interesting competition in the junior B field.
Well, how about the senior Bs, which last year was won by Region 1 and Region 5 was third in that particular age group?
Right. Well, our senior Bs, this is a absolute team to watch. It's a powerhouse team. I mean, they could form their own team and go compete at the Olympics somewhere. They have so much talent. Andrea Lee from Legacy Elite. We all know Andrea. She's been to multiple JO Nationals. She's been to multiple Nastia Cups. She is one very, very talented young lady who hopefully this year will be her year to take home that JO National title. She's also committed to Cal. So next up, we have Sierra Brooks from Aspire. Sierra is super powerful. 10.1 vaulter, huge tumbler on floor. She's one of those triple series kids on beam. U of M is in her future. She is just an amazing, amazing athlete. Jerquavia Henderson, everyone knows her by Q. She was the 2017 National Vault Champion. So she is a powerhouse. Every time she takes an event, you want to watch her because she is just huge. She also won regional vault championship, so she could definitely make a play at that national championship again this year. Aria Brush from CGA. She's a former elite. This is the second time she's qualified to JO Nationals. She is another one of those triple series beam kids. Very strong all over the gym, every event. She's another kid that you just want to watch. Can't take your eyes off when she's on the floor. Super talented. Hannah Demirs from Splits. I am so excited about this kid. This is her first time qualifying to nationals, and she couldn't have been more excited. She is ready to go. I hope this is her meet, though. I hope she puts an entire meet together, hits every event. She struggles with that a little bit, has struggled with that in the past at meets. So I'm really hoping she can put it together at nationals and really show everyone what she can do. Kiara, I can't say her last name. Yeah, Gangfingna.
That sounds like a disease.
How do you say it? Yeah, I'm going to have to learn it because I can't say it. So I apologize. This is her first time qualifying to JO Nationals. She's also a first year level 10. We saw her last year at level 9 Easterns. She is a very strong vaulter, does Yurchenko full, very strong floor, tumbler. She's looking really good. She looked good at Region 5 championships, and looking at seeing good things from her coming up in a couple weeks here. And our last but not least is Suki Pfister from Set 10. Now this is her first year as a JO National qualifier, and she is a strong beam worker. She has strong vault. She looked good at regionals, so this team is definitely one of those teams to watch. However, I feel it's going to be a fight to the death between us and Region 1. Region 1's like top 6 all-around scores were 38 plus at regionals. So it's going to be very interesting. I think Region 1's going to give us a run for their money. Region 2 or 7 is also looking pretty strong, and yeah, this is a tough age group. They have a lot of big scores and big things in other regions. I don't know how scoring compares so much to ours, but Region 1, I tell you, 638, who does that?
I think it's tough, obviously, for us to compare both regions or regions in general because we don't know the judging in terms of that. But definitely, I did notice that myself, that Region 1 looks like they're going to be tough. And I think this particular age group is exciting to watch regardless. But I think that will be a great battle and an interesting one to see how it comes out. The last session of the day, for the first day of JOs, will feature our junior and senior Cs. And JB, can you take us through the junior C age group? Who's going to fly like Faith Torres double layout?
Okay, so Faith Torres was amazing. She was on fire. She was also a Nastia Lucan qualifier. Not sure you could say that she has a weakness. She's by far the leader and probably a good candidate for a JO national champion. Vault, very nice straight, Yurchenko full. On bars, a beautiful pike Jaeger, a double layout dismount, but that's only rivaled by her double layout on floor, which was huge at regionals. She actually had a large step back on it because she had so much power out of the double layout. Beam, gorgeous, strong triple flight, as we saw a lot of that at this year's regionals. And really the strong leader here. The rest of this particular age group is a little bit more sandwiched together. So there was Faith with a 38.675, and then the rest a couple low 37s and 36s. So Savannah Miller was in second in the all-around. She did really, really well, very consistent throughout. She struggled on beam, but had a nice bar set that kind of helped her secure that second spot. Beautiful stalder, toe on chapash. Back to a pack salto, very, very nice routine. It probably would have scored higher, but she caught really close on the pack and kind of had to muscle her way through that routine. So I could see it going much higher at JOs if she has a little bit better pack salto. Gabriella Pierce from Naperville also did very well. Another one of the 37s in that group. One of her stronger events was her vault. She's a nice Yurchenko full. Just kind of speaking in general about this age group. No bonus vaults, just a couple of Yurchenko fulls and some layout halves in there. So really needing to capitalize on the other events if they're going to do well at JOs. In fourth, we had Madeline Keys from Intergym with a 36.7. Then in fifth, Olivia Bausman from Big Gymnastics. Sixth was Emma Stoddard from Oakland. And then we in seventh, Avery Ajima. Some other shout outs when I was talking about Savannah Miller earlier. She also had some great artistry in her floor routine. I think that really helped set her apart. Had she had a little bit better landings on her double pike and double tuck and a little bit in her L turn, I think she could also gone a lot higher on floor as well.
Savannah is a JO National qualifier last year and actually was in our Coaches Wired. We wired her mom, Ruth, on balance beam last year at JO Nationals, and you can catch that video out on our site. But Faith Torres, many don't know, she was a JO National qualifier last year too, also did very well, but she represented Region 4, so we're happy to have her representing Region 5 this year.
And I do feel beam is probably, Gabby Pierce also nailed beam, also triple flight series. So those two top beam workers would definitely help us have an advantage in this age group going to JOs. Just very, very strong beam.
Well, we won this age group last year in 2017. But who did you see in 2018 from the regional results that could be a challenge here?
Region 5 is going to really struggle to be on top with this one because there's some strong contenders in both Region 7 and Region 1. I think their best bet is to capitalize on the fact that we have strong beam workers, and of course people sometimes crack under pressure. So if we go in and hit beam and stay clean on bars and floor, we'll have a shot hopefully at the top 3.
Well, moving on, we have our senior Cs, which will be at the gym next door at that time period, are one of the strongest age groups that we will put out on the floor at JO Nationals, featuring 3 members of the Junior F team that won big at JO Nationals last year. And this group includes 3 former JO National champions as well. Leading the way for Region 5 is 2017 JO National All-Around Champion Maddie Walgora from Olympia, a 38.275 at Regionals. Maddie was slowed this year by injury earlier in the season, but is beginning to get her swag back and is ready to compete in her fourth JO Nationals. She is a very strong all-arounder, and of course everyone knows, most people know, will be heading to Alabama in a few years. Gabby Wilson is the 2016 JO National All-Around Champion. She unfortunately fell on her series at regionals, but definitely one that is always in the mix. 37.875 despite the fall at regionals. We saw her compete her Yurchenko double again. She unveiled it again. She competed it last year or year before. Did it at JPAC this particular season, but has come back to the 1.5 for regionals and of course nationals because it's a more consistent vault for her. Look for these two to have a huge impact on this team and in the overall standings as a whole. One to always watch and stands out and you can never miss is Helen Hugh from IK. She's a 2-time JO National Beam Champion and has added a huge pike ray. It's absolutely enormous. She had struggled on it at state meet, but at regionals it was an absolutely gorgeous routine. She's very experienced and always fun to watch, especially on beam and floor. Their choreography at IK is second to none. She definitely has some originality in her movements, her chin stand and her round off back chin stand roll. Everyone knows that and expects that or looks for that in her floor routine. So definitely somebody that's going to be look out. She could be in the top. She was in the top 10 in the all around. I believe she finished 6th, if I'm not mistaken, last year. So someone definitely to watch out for and can make an impact. Peyton Murphy from Palmer's Gymnastics has qualified to her second nationals in a row and has made huge improvements in her overall gymnastics this season, including a new double Arabian off bars, which has upgraded her bar routine considerably for this particular year. She used her experience in her 14th place finish all around last year as a source of a motivation this year. She has definitely come out and been much stronger, a little bit more confident in herself and her gymnastics, and I think it's showing. I know I, as her personal coach, have gotten some comments this year throughout the season as well as regionals on how much Peyton has improved just overall in her look. She'll be a steady force and definitely will be an impact on beam and floor. She's very strong on those two events. Though don't count her out for an all-around finish, possibly on the podium this year. Newcomers, Olivia Modi from Hunts. She has big gymnastics on all of her events. I love watching Olivia. I've seen her for many years. Peyton and her actually were Region 5 Level 9 teammates at Easterns a few years back. She has a beautiful front layout, front double full, one of my favorite passes on floor. I think it's very difficult. It's awesome to have, but she's Yurchenko full. Just overall good gymnastics. So she'd be one to watch. Abigail Guys from Michigan Academy. She has beautiful lines on her events. Maddie Dieb from Premier. Maddie is an interesting story. She competes high school gymnastics as well as the club level. So most of the season she's in her competing for her Illinois her high school program. But she has a huge souk full on vault. It's very nice. Double front off bars. She is a little bit more on the front tumbling side. She likes to go forward. And someone definitely stands out in that sense where she has some big skills that way. In this age group, we do have two competing for Region 2. Linda Zavit from Phenom. She is another big layout souk full, probably one of the best ones that I have seen. It's very dynamic, and she has another double layout that can rival Faith's double layout. Very big, new for this season. And then Amanda Gerber from Flying High. I'm very impressed with Amanda. She has improved a lot over the course of this last year, adding difficulty to all her routines, upgrading her vault. She competed a layout for many years, is upgraded to her full, and it was very nice at regionals. But I'm sure Region 2 will be very happy to have these particular athletes, some strong scores on our team for their team coming up at Nationals. Region 7 won the Senior C age group in 2017 and looked strong again in 2018, along with Region 1 and 3. But the depth on all 4 events of our Region 5 kids, they should definitely be considered one of the favorites to take the top spot in this particular age group. If all falls into place and Region 5 performs to the level we are capable of, we could have 2 championship age groups and 3 others finishing in the top 3, which would give us around about 40 points in day 1, and that's it's pretty good. So we'll have to see how day 1 goes. I know it's always exciting to kick off the championship meet. For over 50 years, Spieth America has been one of the most trusted gymnasium and sports equipment manufacturers in North America. Spieth America is an FIG partner,
official apparatus supplier of Gymnastics Canada, and the official apparatus supplier of the NAIGC. This year, our partner Spieth Gymnastics in Germany will supply equipment to the Commonwealth Games and World Cups in Cottbus, Melbourne, Baku, Doha, and Stuttgart. In 2019, Spieth will be the official supplier to the World Gymnastics Championships in Stuttgart, Germany. Spieth America has now relocated to Michigan and is excited to be offering world-class equipment at affordable rates to events looking for equipment rentals. If you have any questions about Spieth equipment, please visit spiethamerica.com. Spieth America is proud to be an official sponsor of the Region 5 Gymnastics Insider. We continue our recap of the Region 5 Championships and JO Nationals preview with our junior and senior Ds. These two age groups will be the first up on day 2 of the 2018 JO National Championships and could be the most successful session in terms of points for our region. Both junior and senior Ds from our region make up, in my opinion, some of the best level 10s in our country. So, JB, what's the story in Junior D?
So, Junior D has a very strong group and a couple new timers as well. Starting kind of with the all around, we have Skylar Schulte from Phenom, who led the group, but not far behind, also with a 38, was Tori Vetter from UGI. And then we had Ella Cesario from Legacy Elite, JC Vore from JPAC, Katia Sander from Perfection, Madison Snook from Legacy Elite, and new timer to JO's Lena McGovern from Legacy Gymnastics in Kentucky. Worthy of note was some really strong vaults. Again, they didn't have any bonus vaults, but we had a beautiful stuck Yurchenko full from JC from JPAC. And then Ella Cesario with a small little hop, 965, and then Tori Vetter, 9625 from UGI. Very strong vault group. On bars, we have a pair of Hendors leading the pack with Skylar Schulte from Phenom. Some really nice Decachas in this group. And then on beam, Katia Sander, first year level 10, she led the way. Very strong performance. But a beam was where she kind of stood out with a great handspring layout, nice aerial split as well. And then Skyla was second on beam with a nice high double tuck at the end, a large step, a lot of power. Great beam set from her. On floor, kind of a rise I saw in a new trend. Yes, level 10s in the past have been known here and there to do 2 tumbling passes, but there were 2 girls in this group that opened with, double pike and Lay Rudy. That was Tori Vetter from UGI, got a 9.7 on that, scored very well with his 2 tumbling passes. Skyla Schulte from Phenom, for example, opened with a full in and also ended with a Lay Rudy and scored a 9.65. So it's an interesting trend just to see that, just to minimize deductions, and it's still up to level because both have either D or E in the first pass, and then your double salto having a D as well. So it's kind of interesting to see that tactic. Obviously, it's been very common in level 7, level 8, but I guess it's becoming more prominent 9 and 10 as well.
To mention, obviously, Tori Vetter was the 2018 Junior Nastia Cup champion this year, so definitely a strong confidence coming out of that competition and regionals moving into nationals for her too.
At Nastia qualifier, it's impressive that she did as well as she did, considering she actually struggled a little bit on her dismount on bars. So she had to absorb, a large deduction on that dismount, and still being on top is excellent. So she is definitely one to watch to be able to rise to the challenge, even if there's a mistake. Looking compared to the other regions, we're pretty strong for sure. Region 7 and Region 3 are a little bit weaker with their all-arounders, but Region 1 is pretty much right on par with us. So it'll kind of be a battle royale between Region 5 and Region 1 in the Junior Ds.
Well, I said that this session definitely could be one of the best in terms of just gymnastics of the weekend. But the story of the senior Ds I could use as a theme that who's got next in the SEC. How did our senior D dream team shape up, Kim?
Senior D Dream Team is another one of those powerhouse teams that we have, being led by Leah Clapper, who went 38-3 all around, also winning bars. Leah is a second-time JO National qualifier and a former elite. She's competed at P&G Championships. She's also heading to Florida after this season. She's a senior, so we'll see her with the Gators. But Leah is super strong, pretty much all around the gym. Bars is really her strongest event right now, and she's very strong on floor, always entertaining routines. Followed by Peyton Richards from aerial. She is a 2-time back-to-back national beam champion, also a future Gator. She is the regional beam champion. But what I love about Peyton is her gymnastics is so soft and effortless. Like she just kind of floats around. You can't hear her land. It doesn't look like she's putting a lot of effort to do those big skills. She has a triple series on beam, which just floats down the beam. It kind of reminds me of watching Carly Patterson compete. She floats like Carly. So she is super, super strong. She's going to make a huge impact. After her, it is Makari Doggett, who we all know Makari. She's been around the JO scene for a long time now. She is a 5-time Nastia Cup qualifier. She's a JO all-around champion. She won floor last year. She won floor at regionals this year, and she is always so entertaining. The array of skills that she can do is just amazing. To be able to do so many floor tumbling passes and just like pick what you're going to do is kind of insane. But she always is smiling and happy to be at competition, and she's very, very entertaining. So she is definitely always one to watch. She's going to Bama, so a little further down, more SEC action in the top 3 there. Next, we have Rachel Dekavich from Gym World. She, this is her 2nd time qualifying to JO Nationals. She is very strong on bars and very strong on beam. She has one of those interesting beam mounts. But she's headed to Kent State when she graduates. She's another one of those cool competitors that you just want to watch because she does some pretty awesome things.
Yeah, I think she definitely stood out to me. She was one on my list of just the overall performance quality that she did have at regionals. Obviously, in that group of studs, obviously going to the SEC, it's hard to kind of stand out. But I thought that Rachel did a phenomenal job and just looked really, really prepared for regionals and obviously making the national team.
Absolutely. And she's looked that way all season. All the meets I've seen her at, she's looked really ready. So, next we have Lauren Beckwith. She's a 2-time JO national qualifier. This year I've noticed she looks very strong. She looks very ready to go. She looks confident. She has some great skills, clean gymnastics. So it's will be fun to watch her and see what she is, going to produce at nationals. Next, Kai Rivers from Twistars. Now, everybody knows Kai Rivers. She was the 2017 Nastia Lucan Cup winner. She's won JO Nationals. She's been to, multiple JO National teams, Region 5 All-Star trips. She's one of those competitors you cannot take your eyes off of. However, she did struggle a little bit at regionals and at state meet. Just things not going her way on 2 events. So I really hope that she pulls it together for nationals, and I want to see her, succeed and do some big things because she's one of my favorites. So just want to see how this meet goes for her, and hopefully she can improve on her results from the last 2. She is another SEC kid. She's headed to LSU. So big things coming from her.
In terms of Kai, I talked to her a little bit at regionals, and she's mad, and when Kai's mad, you want to watch out, because I think she is motivated and better, more than ever, maybe in any nationals, to go in and definitely right the ship, so to speak, because it hasn't been her best performances over the last few meets, and that I know that does not sit well with Kai. So hopefully she can come back to her norm, because you always can anticipate big gymnastics from her, and a big 38 could pop up there during the competition for sure.
That's why I was just saying, I really hope that she can make it big at nationals. That's just kind of how she is. So there's been a lot going on in those in their lives, so it's it's understandable that they're a little not tip top right now, but hopefully those girls will be tip top for the big show. But with that being said, moving on to Jory Jackard from Twistars. I like her. I like this kid. I'm glad she made it back to JOs. She is a beautiful gymnast. She qualified in 2014 and 2016. Struggled a little bit last year, but she is beautiful. She has beautiful bar work, beautiful floor. She makes her gymnastics look very effortless. She has great dance, great lines, and I'm really happy that she made it. I was looking forward to her making it, and I really can't wait to see her compete at nationals and where she's going to stand. She is an MSU kid. She's going to MSU for college, so definitely kind of flies under the radar, but beautiful athlete. A little bit about our alternates for this age group. We have two of them. Natalie Hamp from Twistars, who she's another one of those fly under the radar kind of kids. She has beautiful beam, beautiful floor, or beautiful bars, beautiful floor. Prepared to step up when you need her. She'll contribute. She's an all-around athlete. And our next alternate is Danielle Nosik from JPAC. She's actually the regional vault champion with a 9.8. She had a huge vault, beautiful form. So we got some strong alternates just in case we need them. This age group is a big powerhouse age group. Definitely a group to watch. Compared to the rest of the region, Region 1 and Region 3 are both looking super strong in this age group, and I think Region 1 definitely has the potential to give us a run for our money. It's going to be, I think, between Region 5 and 1 in this age group. Lots of high all-around, lots of potential. So definitely can't wait to see what happens here.
The Junior E's, in my opinion, have the makings of a sleeper team. The group mixes the power of the sport with the presentation that grabs your eyes. Kim, who will be representing Region 5 in this age group?
Junior E is another one of those age groups that is definitely a mix of veterans and first-timers. They have potential all over the place that they could definitely sneak in and win that national team title. Erica Penamente from Legacy Elite, she won the all-around with a 38. She is also your regional beam champion, and she is outstanding. Very clean and consistent all over. Great floor work, great beam work. She's a little itty-bitty thing, but she definitely has a big personality, so she definitely will lead this team when it gets time for nationals. Our next one is Mackenzie Sedlick from IGI. And Mackenzie, this is the first time she's qualified to JO Nationals because she has been doing on the elite scene. She's a former elite. She is a beautiful athlete. I didn't really know much about this kid until recently, but strong vault, strong floor. She's the regional champion on both those events. So it's gonna be fun to see what she can do here at nationals. Definitely a player that she could win the all around. I think she had a little trouble on bars at regionals, but we could maybe see some multiple event champions at her. Next would be Haley Tyson. She's from Phenom. She has qualified to JOs before. She is very strong. She's a huge tumbler, gets lots of height. She's a great bar swinger. Sometimes she lacked a little form in some of her areas, especially on bars, but she looks good. Definitely gonna bring a lot to the table. Our next is Amelia Knotts from GTC. Now, this is Amelia's first time qualifying to JOs, and this is just an all-around great kid. She always looks like she's having a great time on the floor. I've known her for a long time, so it kind of surprised me that she made it. However, it kind of didn't surprise me just because of how her season's been going. She's been looking amazing. She made a gym change, and just has upgraded immensely all over the gym. So she is just a strong all-around competitor. Next is Ella Chamati from Eurostars. Ella has been on the radar a little bit. Last year she didn't have quite the meets that she wanted, but this year she has been working super hard in the gym. I follow her training videos, and she has added so much difficulty all over the gym. She is beautiful, beautiful lines, beautiful beam worker. She's just a special kid and definitely one to watch, especially on beam, especially on floor. But her form is impeccable, and she's really excited that this is her first time, and I'm really glad that she put it together, and I'm really glad that she made it. So that's going to be exciting to see what happens with her. Our next athlete is Hannah Oliveri from IGI. She's another veteran JO competitor, super strong. She has beautiful bars and beam. She has some pretty huge tumbling on floor. Great vaulting. She's just one of those all-around athletes that you want to watch her on everything. She has potential to do great on everything. She's going to be a big player on this team for sure. And then our last one is Caitlin Grimes from BIG. And she's a veteran competitor. She competed at nationals in 2016 and 17. But I believe in 17 she competed for Region 2. She looked good. She was a little shaky on beam, but her floor and her vault are awesome. I love her floor music. I love her choreography. I really like her. I've watched her for the last couple of years, and there's just something about her that she definitely is, not at the top of her gymnastics. So there's going to be a lot coming from her, I think, in the future. She's definitely one to watch. Once she gets totally healthy and back into tip-top shape, she'll make an impact. And this team, this Junior E team, definitely, I think, has all the makings to possibly slip in, and win that team title. I really think that their only major competition could be Region 7. That's what I think, at least based on some, the all-around scores from regionals. It could go either way, 5 or 7, but I think 7's going to be the only one that might, put up a fight with them. Okay, so we have for Junior E, we do have a couple kids that will be competing for Region 2. Riley Milbrandt from Legacy Elite, who has qualified to JOs before. She will represent Region 2, as will Gabrielle Steven from Midwest Elite. So our alternate for Region 5 will be Naomi German from GTC. If for some reason one of our alternates does need to go in, that's where Riley Milbrandt from Legacy Elite will step in to our team, and Naomi will step in to the Region 2 team. So lots of opportunity for kids to be competing in the Junior E age group, and it's kind of fun when they get to, qualify for it, but it's still fun when they compete for Region 2 and, help out a region that doesn't have enough kids. So they still get the experience of the nationals. So.
Yes, and I know Gabby is excited. I talked to Gabby and her coach Roger. It's their first national qualifier. They've had some 9s qualify, but it's their first JO national qualifier for the program, for the club, and it's always cool when you make your first JO nationals in your gym. So it's always exciting. So we're going to split jump forward to the Junior F age group, and Perfection's Jillian Roots, a 3-time JO national qualifier, leads this team into nationals. Jillian is a complete all-around athlete, strong on every event, but bars by far is her best event. She has a huge ray, and she is a former national silver medalist in 2016 on bars. Hannah Nam from Cincinnati, she will roll into her second JO Nationals, literally, as she does the mount on balance beam, forward roll on the beam, which I know that if Jessica from Gymnastics saw, she'd give it a huge thumbs up. She loves those interesting mounts. But her layout series is probably second to none. It's an absolutely gorgeous layout. She broke the top 10 all around last year, finishing 9th at JO Nationals, which I'm sure she is looking to improve upon this year. Tara Walsh, this is her first JO national qualifying spot from Olympia. Switched to Olympia this past year. She's competing in her first JO Nationals, as I said. And she looks strong. She looks good. She has a nice bar swing. Overall, just a good athlete, nice athlete to watch. Very, promising type of gymnastics that we'll get to see for the first time on that national stage. Cassidy O'Neill from Cincinnati, again, a first-time qualifier, a solid all-arounder, and definitely will help out this team. Cassie Barbonente from Palmer's is competing in her second JO Nationals. She was a member of that Junior C team that won last year. I would say Cassie's strengths are definitely vault and especially bars. She has a big pike Jaeger and a nice flipping double layout. It rotates pretty fast. Don't count her out as a contender, however, for a podium spot as well. She can be a strong all-arounder. Struggled a little bit on her front aerial to her back handspring at regionals. Had to grab the beam, turn around, and go back again, which kept her actually from possibly winning the age group, but would definitely have worked on correcting that at practice. Gianna Gerdidis from Gym Extreme is probably the most experienced in this group. She will be competing in her fourth JO Nationals. She represented Region 2, if I'm not mistaken, her first year, but has obviously represented Region 5 in the last 3. Gianna is the only one of our Junior Fs that will do a 10.1 vault. She has a 1.5 and did a pretty nice 1.5 at regionals. Adriana Bastillo from Cincinnati is back at JOs, competing for the first time since 2016. Adriana has some of the best presentation and extension on floor, which is saying a lot when you're talking about the gymnast from Cincinnati. Avery Balzar from Buckeye competed for Region 2 last year at Nationals, so has some experience there. Her best event is bars, and she tied Cassie actually for the regional bar championship this past year at Regionals. Speaking of competing for Region 2, I'm very excited to say that Isabella West from Buffalo Grove has qualified to JO Nationals for the first time and will compete in Region 2. I've watched Izzy grow up in the sport. She was a fantastic level 9 national vault champion, if I'm not mistaken. Huge layout Yurchenko at the time, but she struggled a little bit to turn that into a full. Has done that this year. She has a big double back off balance beam, and definitely is a talented kid that kind of flies under the radar. So we'll see. I'm interested to see how she responds. I'm happy for Terry and Mike and being able to get Izzy to the point where she could stay healthy and make this team this year, and definitely looking forward to watching her compete. The Junior F team has huge potential to be amongst the best in this session. Region 5 won this age group by almost a point last year. I wouldn't quite say this team is exactly the same makings as the team last year, which obviously featured the Maddie Wilgores and the Gabby Wilsons, but definitely in the mix for this 2018 Nationals. However, coming to Nationals, I would say Region 3 looks to be the strongest team to beat. Interesting fact, however, in this session comes out of Region 8. Juliana Faring from LaFleur's in Tampa. She finished 4th all around last year. Has a big Yurchenko 1.5, which I know is an upgrade for this particular season. She's a former gymnast at Gymnasty, and she actually competed for Gymnasty at Level 9 Easterns back in 2015, I believe. Juliana will be a contender for this championship, definitely for sure at this JO Nationals. But it's kind of cool to have former Region 5 kids, competing obviously in other regions as well. When looking back on your gymnastics career, you always remember your first competition as well as your last. The senior E's and F's hope to ride off into the sunset as JO National Champions this year. Jason, can you just talk a little bit about what we see from the senior E and F age groups as we look into JO Nationals this year?
Senior E, one of my gymnasts happens to be in that one, so it's one that I've actually followed a little bit more closely over the years as she's competed against some of the same athletes. Beginning in the all-around, we had Sarah Hargrove, multiple JO national champion. In senior E, she led the pack with a 38.275. Then Anna Kaziska from champion, she was in second. Then we had a new timer, Sydney Jennings, who will be joining JOs for the first time this year from Olympia. And then Cameron Klein from DeVos, who has been to JOs before. Anna Higgins from Queen City, she is a first-time JO qualifier. Then we had Madison Ian News from JPAC. She's also been before. And then in 7th, Taylor Newland from UGI, who is also a JO National first-timer. So very strong group. In particular, they're pretty strong on beam. Those top two, Sarah and Anna, really hit nice beam routines. Sarah known for that kind of back dive mount, which is kind of cool. They're a little bit weak on vault. One of the worthy to note, though, was new timer Sydney Jennings from Olympia. Surprise, surprise. She's good on vault. Really nice Rodchenko full, as well as Sarah Hargroves and Cameron Klein's. This was the first session of regionals, and so I think the judges were kind of getting a little warmed up. Sarah Hargrove, particularly on bars, had a beautiful routine, but it scored a little bit low, considering she was maybe one of the first ones up on bars. Likewise, Anna Kaziska, one of the first ones up on floor. And though she had a false start of like 5 times as they tried to get their music right, didn't affect her, had a good routine, but again, a little underscored as well. So I do feel from a scoring perspective, their scores as a whole were a little bit lower, even though the routines, I think, warranted a little bit higher. So I think when compared to other regions, it's a little bit harder to gauge when they all get together. On beam, like I said, Anna and Sarah really strong on beam. And then on floor, Sydney Jennings from Olympia as well had a beautiful 2.5 at the beginning. But some really nice routines in this group. However, compared to the region, I think we're pretty on par with Region 3, but Region 1 and 7 were very, very, very strong in Senior E. So we're going to have our work cut out for us, and the newbies will have to bring it as well if we're going to contend for JO champion in this age group. Then moving on to Senior F, we had a very strong group here as well. In first with our Senior Fs, we had Caitlin Higgins from from Rockford. We had Ashley Hofick from Oakland, Carolyn Roberts from Splits, Nicole Borkowski from New Heights, Nicole Bars from Crystal Lake, and Alyssa Wiedemann from Perfection, and finally Bridget Killian from Legacy Elite. Very strong, some really nice vaults. Again, no bonus vaults. It doesn't seem like that was kind of in all the age groups I had, not a whole lot of bonus vaults, mostly just clean fulls, working on distance. On bars from Oakland, Ashley had a really nice Jaeger-Bale combo that was nice to see. Beam, no triple flights in this group, but so this more, they have kind of very clean routines on beam. In particular note was Caitlin Higgins beam from Rockford, very nice switch with Popa, punch front, and Rudy dismount, which you don't see as often. But in general, they have clean gymnastics, just not the most flashy difficult. But as well in this age group, again, they're pretty much on par with Region 3 and Region 1 and 7. Again, very, very strong. So we'll have our work cut out for us as well in the Senior Fs.
Well, it's always interesting with these type of age groups, these last senior age groups. They've known each other. These teams have known each other. These kids have known each other from camps and what have you, nationals before, to compete and be on the floor that one last time, representing their club, but also representing Region 5 together. And it's always cool to watch kind of how that team kind of meshes and represents our region one last time. Is always exciting to see, and I'm looking forward to that as well. Region 5 is always one of the strongest regions in the country, as many know. We've won JO Nationals back in 2014, but have finished third these last 3 years. I know our dream team athletes and coaches are motivated. We've made it a mission to in our training and our camps to take back that title, and it's going to be a battle like every year as it is. I look forward to our dream team to do their best gymnastics of this season, to stand on top of that podium as JO National Super Team champions once again, and hopefully, obviously as Jason and I do have athletes competing in the competition. It's exciting to be on both sides of both the media and involved with the competition. It makes it a little bit stressful here and there, but it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to being able to do that once again, and hopefully our team puts it in high gear and comes out on top. Any final comments do you think we have on our dream teams and our chances here at Nationals?
I definitely think that after watching the last couple of years and not finishing as high as we'd like to, I definitely think the kids are motivated. I think the coaches are motivated. And I think everyone looks really good, that everybody wants to get back on top of that first place.
Well, I'm definitely hoping Brett will listen and kind of take it to the next level, because he always tries to find some way to get us motivated, get us psyched up, and finds new ways. The sticks last year, the popsicle stick ideas with the crazy cheers, and there's always something. And I think that just adds to it. You know, we are a region that's the only one that really does that, and I think that's awesome. Jason, do you have any other thoughts?
I did notice as kind of reviewing the routines from that weekend that you can tell there's been a definite attention to detail, a lot of stuck vaults, a lot of stuck dismounts off beam and bars, better handstands than I've seen in a while, and definitely a little bit elevated difficulty up to level. For sure, you can tell that Region 5 took to heart the composition deductions. Everyone was showing full difficulty, I felt, on floor and beam and bars particularly.
I feel like there's a lot of kids out there who are going above and beyond. I know, CGA, they mentioned, I had a conversation with Rachel one day about the beam mounts, because all the CGA kids seem to have these great, cool, interesting beam mounts just to give, their routines a little extra flash, and they want to get a Yahtzee award, they mentioned. But I know, just those little extra things that just to spice up their, their routines and just make things different and stand out. But I've noticed a lot of people have definitely upgraded different parts all over the gym, whether form, skills, definitely the kids that barely, missed it last year definitely went home and worked hard and upgraded all over the gym to make it this year. So everyone looks, like they're ready to take that top spot.
Yeah, and I think our region definitely took hold of that, earn it, take it mentality, and really have tried to, perfect the little details and really make, this run at a national championship a little bit more of a power push than we have maybe in the past, with just relying on maybe some of our talent. We've actually worked on fixing the little details, and I know Shar mentioned it, and she thinks that, our region looks better going into this nationals than maybe it has in the last few years. So that's exciting, and we look forward to obviously covering JO Nationals in a couple weeks in Cincinnati.
Energy Music is floor music that rocks. This is our 15th season. Did you know all our music is legal and licensed? That means we don't cut music, we create music. At Energy Music, we are dedicated to great customer service and creating floor music that rocks. Thanks for 15 great years.
It's Energym's 15th season, and they are excited to offer a 15% discount for all our Region 5 listeners. Go to energymmusic.com. That's ENERGYMMUSIC.com and use R5 Insider 15 at checkout. That's R5 Insider 15 for 15% off your floor music for the 2019 season. Energym Music is floor music that rocks. We switch tracks to a level 9, and the Region 5 is the defending team champions from the 2017 Level 9 Eastern Nationals. We are looking obviously to win again this coming weekend in Rochester, New York. There are 16 age groups for Level 9, so we are not going to break them all down individually, but we'll give some insights on the gymnasts to look out for. Check out our full Level 9 Dream Teams on our website, and the link for that will be in our show notes, so you can check that out. Overall, I was impressed with the quality and performance level of our Level 9s at regionals this year. I think our Dream Team squads, for the most part, are very deep with talent across all of the age groups. I know I have my highlights, but Kim, who impressed you at Level 9 at the Level 9 sessions at regionals?
Now I cover Level 9 a lot during the season, so I've watched these kids go from, their first meets all the way to this point, and I definitely was impressed with all of the kids from Stars and Stripes. Stars and Stripes has this little crop of Level 9s who are just fantastic. Specifically, Lane Rodacker from I don't know what age group she's in, but Lane Rodacker, she was the all-around champion with a 38-1, and her floor is in year 3. And her floor is just exquisite. Can't take your eyes off of it. Beautiful dance. She definitely is a contender for all-around champion. So And then she has two other teammates that are amazing. Madeline Topner, she had a fall on beam and placed, I believe, third. But without that fall, she would have won her age group as well. So if she hits at nationals, she is another one of those kids that could be right up there, along with Reagan Flannery and Isabella Kraft. These kids are just exquisite. They have great form, great jumps, great leaps, high vaults. There's really nothing I can say bad about this team. They are going to be your ones to watch coming up here in the future as well. Rachel Rybicki from Olympia, she is the smallest little peanut, but full of power, full of love for the sport, always has a smile on her face. She is another one of those kids that you just cannot take your eyes off of and that you want to watch. She has great gymnastics, great lines, big skills, and again, she's another one of those kids that could win the all-around, and she's another one of those kids that is going to be one to watch going into eventually a level 10 season. Twistars has two great standouts for me, Jillian Swinehart and Carly Kim. Jillian has beautiful lines. She won beam at regionals, and she just is lovely to watch. Her beam is beautiful. Her floor is beautiful. You can't take your eyes off that athlete, and I definitely think she will make an impact this year at Easterns. And Carly Kim, she blew me away because she choreographed her own floor routine, and a lot of level 9s don't do that, and a lot of athletes don't have the opportunity to do that, but she did, and it is beautiful. It's great to watch. She has so much expression. She definitely is going to be up there on the podium for that event for sure. Briar Burdern from Water's Edge, she is trying to get a beam dismount named after her, big beam dismount that she does that is on our YouTube page. So everyone can check that out. She does a gainer back, standing back tuck off the side, which she doesn't swing her legs. She just kind of jumps into it like off a diving board. And she's a diver, so it was very easy and natural for her. She's going to try to do it as a pike, and it's not in the code, so she's has submitted all of the necessary stuff to get that named after her. And I talked to her a little bit about it, and she really hopes that she can successfully complete it at Easterns and get a skill named after her. So pretty cool. And then one more, Ava Molina from CGA. She's the smallest, cutest little kid ever. She's in the Triple Series Club as a level 9. And watching her was just poetry in motion. She was smiling, laughing, just a beautiful kid to watch, and definitely going to be in the mix for winning every event at Easterns and an all-around. And again, the future of Region 5 gymnastics. So lots of things going on here with the level 9s.
Well, as I mentioned before, bars is my favorite event to coach as well as watch. It's just a great event, major release, have you. But obviously in level 9s, I think one of my major highlights are the bar element, the in-bar elements, and the quality of gymnastics and lines from the bar workers or the gymnasts at perfection, level 9s at perfection. I've always admired Enrique's way of training. I actually emulate a lot of his techniques and things that he does to prepare his athletes for the upper level optionals. But these kids have pencil straight toe shoot handstands, pencil straight stalder finishes with flat back. Most of the kids, Piper Reed is one of them. She finished second in the junior 4 age group, but she was the highest bar score in level 9 across the entire day or entire weekend, 9.7. Absolutely gorgeous toe hand, stalder hand. I mean, hit vertical bail handstand, double back stick. And, obviously, those may not necessarily be things that they want to necessarily do a lot of in terms of level 10. But they can definitely, I can see her doing arrays, and I can see her doing maybe a Rikna, or adding those quality toe elements or in-bar elements into major releases because of all the preparation that Enrique has done. So by far, kudos to Enrique and his bar preparations, because his level 9s looked outstanding. I know a couple others over at 9.5. I think one finished second in her age group, and I think one also finished second in the other age group. So definitely quality bar working being done there. I also like unique combinations, especially on bars, because we have the pirouette bails, the clear up double tucks, what have you. But when a kid does a cool combination, and we had two actually perform the same element, and Jason's very close to, or knows one of them very well. But Nicole Dundas from All Around Gymnastics in Ohio, and Ritosha Halsal from Champion, I may have not said that right, sorry, one of Jason's gymnasts, they did Higgins to straddle back handstands, and you don't see straddle backs very often. If you do, it's from like a intermittent swing to a straddle back. She did Higgins straddle back hands. Both did exceptional job. They just looked really really good. It was really original and cool and stood out. But Rotosha obviously finished fourth in her age group in 9.45 on bars. So clearly the judges seem to like that as well, and see something different, because you'll see the same routines over and over again, the compulsory level 9 bar routines, as I say. But hats off to you and your staff, Jason, for just going above and beyond and trying to be different than maybe some of the others. And maybe that's all she could do. I don't know. You can add to that.
Yeah, I don't know if we were trying to be different. I think she was a level 7 last year and came to us with a straddle back hand, and didn't have any pirouetting skills at all at that point. So we were starting kind of fresh slate, and with her learning so many other new skills on the other events, we wanted to keep the straddle backhand within the routine, but still incorporate that with the pirouette. And so that's when we started training the Higgins, and everything else kind of took shape after that. Not sure she'll keep it as she goes into level 10 next season, but it was kind of cool, and she scored well with that all season.
A couple others that stood out really quick. Jenna Olefsky from Universal. She had the second highest all-around score of the entire level 9 competition at 38.275, and was one of the best, if not the best, floor presentation and tumbling in the competition. She does a huge double back for first pass and has a front layout front full. And it's funny, Dave told me that they're going to 2-pass level 9 routines to be more clean, and it definitely worked out with this particular routine. Her dance was great. She stuck everything solid, chest up on the front full, not bent forward or leaning back or what have you. She went at 9.7. As I said, it was bested by a kid from Gym World, Kennedy Griffin. It went 9.725, I believe. I unfortunately did not see that routine, so I necessarily can't compare it. But if it topped Jenna's routine, it must have been pretty good, because, like I said, clean everywhere, good tumbling, great dance. So hats off to Jenna. And another kid that is second in her age group, Gabby Van Freyen from Gym Extreme. She is just a little tyke. She, I know, has dabbled in the Hopes program and in the Tops program a little bit. She has a huge layout Yurchenko for a little kid. I mean, it's slightly maybe a little pike, but it's big off the table. And usually the little ones may not rise as much, or may not look like they rise as much. This Yurchenko rises. She does a nice front layout, front full on floor as well. Very, very nice. She uses the hashtag a lot, little gymnast doing big things, I've noticed on Instagram. And yes, that certainly is true in her case. I mean, just an awesome and one that I think we're going to get to know and hear her name a little bit more, because Amy, Rick, and them, they do a great job of producing their kids over at Gym Extreme. And we definitely keep our eyes on her over for the next few years. And one more quick shout out to a Gym Extreme kid, Chase Patton. Unfortunately, Chase had a bad break on beam and had a very low score on balance beam. But what I want to give her shout out to is she balked her first 2 vaults. One, she ran up on top of the table, and then the next one balked again. Just having struggles. It was her last event. Just really couldn't get it going. I know Rick talked to her a little bit. She walked back, kind of cleared her mind, and she went out and did a very nice layout Yurchenko. I mean, it was like a 9.175, so maybe the score's not huge, but for her and under the circumstances, huge props to being able to come back from that. I've had that problem. You can't get your steps, what have you, and it's hard to get them back, especially under the circumstances and the stresses of a regional. And nice work to Chase to be able to do that. And my last shout out is not for gymnasts. It actually is for one of our coaches in Region 5. And I'd like to shout out to Scott Austin from Legacy in Kentucky. Let me just kind of go through why I have to say that. During the level 9 session, I don't remember which one it was. One of the champion USA kids from Michigan peeled off the bar in her dismount, kind of tried to stop herself, and it was hurt. She went down, trainer had to come over. Tammy had to like kind of make sure she was okay, and Tammy had 2 other kids in the session, one of which I think made Easterns. Scott was on floor with his gymnast, walks over to the bar area, kind of helps the kids kind of turn around, and starts really talking to them and focusing them, making them go through their mindsets, their arm sets, whatever it had to be, but keeping them completely oblivious or away from what their teammate was going through and trying to stay focused. And his kid was, warming up on floor. So, it wasn't even his session. And it was crazy because I couldn't quite understand at first what he was doing. I'm like, that's not his kids. I'm not really sure. But then it dawned on me what he was doing. And it definitely, I think it helped. And it definitely was something you would not see, I don't think, in any other region or Region 5. And I think that's just a great acclimate to what we are as coaches here and how we handle, and we feel like everyone is ours, and it's just we're one part of one big region. And so kudos to Scott, and awesome job. And I know he's got some kids going to Easterns and then JO Nationals, so good luck to him as he coaches his own athletes at the competition as well. Well, we wish all our level 9s good luck this next weekend at Easterns, and we look forward to the win and bringing back that Eastern National Championship trophy once again. Balance beam at this particular region championships was at times very interesting, to say the least. Let's just say we have some good clips for our annual OMG moments at the end of the year, so thank you so much for those. Not sure if some of the level 10s accidentally used dry ice or instead of their chalk, or what they were using, because it was difficult at times, we noticed, to stay on the beam, and looked like they were literally sliding like it was ice skating or something off the beam. We saw quite a few good crashes, layouts that kind of slid down, flipped and landed on their back. A couple back handspring missed their hand, head bunt fall offs. Just some crazy slide down the beam on a layout, step out, not even get your foot on, just literally slide down. So it was kind of interesting, just to see that, at the regional championship meet and some of these crazy crashes. I know a lot of them are on the live stream, but overall, in terms of level 10 balance beam, Jason, what do you think you saw in terms of maybe the judging or just the consistency overall?
I will say the judges on this event were probably the most consistent. And so that's always appreciated. I think, yes, it's normal that there's nerves at a meet, and oftentimes it comes down at regionals. There's oftentimes comes down to hitting both bars and beam. Pretty much you either hit it or you didn't at all. There was no close saves. You were just off and with a dramatic crash, or you nailed it. And I do feel like this year, as they took advantage, coaches and athletes, of the new up to level composition deductions, you did see a lot more triple flight, I think, because of that. The handspring lay was very popular, and those that did it very, very well, in lieu of adding in, a third acro. Then you saw a lot of handspring layout, front aerial, and then they'd have a random back tuck in there, in order to make sure they had their up to level compositional deductions. But I think the judges did a good job differentiating, and it was nice to watch and see that.
Well, you talk about the triple series, and going from level 10s where we saw, obviously there were quite a few in level 10, and quite a few not so good series in level 10, but to see the rise of the triple series within our level 9s, and it's showing that composition is starting to kind of filter its way down a little bit and really encourage. I mean, I saw several flip-flop layout step-outs at level 8 regionals this past weekend, which you don't usually see a lot of. So, to see that it's kind of getting there to step up. But the triple flight, the rise of the triple flight really caught my eye in the level 9s. And I had 3 that I can remember the most that I saw, but you can check them out on our Instagram. We'll have links in the show notes. But Ava Molina from Cincinnati. Ava, a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous routine. Kim talked about her already. Flip-flop layout. And Giada Tarinito, sorry about that, from Premier West. She also did a 2 flip-flop layout series that was absolutely gorgeous. She, I felt, was maybe a little underscored in her routine, but obviously I'm not a judge, so I just, from my perspective, watching the routine, but I thought it was a very nice routine, and obviously the triple flight in the level 9 age group is quite huge. Big props, however, to Haley Klein from Flips in Illinois. I saw it in warm-ups. I ran over to film her series, and she upped them a little bit by doing a flip-flop layout in her beam routine. Unfortunately, she fell on her second layout, got her foot on. Second foot was a little crooked off to the side, and she fell off. And I, wish you could have been able to post that because the one in warm up was absolutely gorgeous. And so hopefully down the road, that's going to be a benefit for her. She's already competed it. She's put it out there in a regional championship, and she'll know how to fight that and maybe, get that solid the next time she's out there. There may have been a few more, and please, if you're level 9, did a triple flight, please send it our way. You can be out at region5insider@gmail.com and give it to us. We'd be happy to post it in our social media and showcase that, because like I said, that is just awesome that you're going for that. They're taking that risk and doing that, and it's only going to help them better as they get to be level 10. So very impressed, and we will have some of those videos again linked in our show notes.
Joshua Tree Skincare is cultivated by athletes for athletes. Organic and all-natural products for your time in the gym. The Gymnast Salve keeps your hands tough and conditioned without losing calluses. It repairs rips and tears quicker. Joshua Tree is a product I wish was around when I was competing. Our athletes at Palmer's Gymnastics and many around the region use it regularly to keep their hands bar ready. If you want to get your hands on this product or interested in selling it at your gym, please go to region5gymnasticsinsider.com/JTree Gymnastics Balm or email us at region5insider@gmail.com and put JTree Gym Balm in the subject line. Joshua Tree Gym Balm. It heals like a rest day.
Last weekend, the NCAA season came to a close at the NCAA Championships in St. Louis. Our special guest today was there in Shevitz Arena all weekend, and she's going to give us an inside scoop to what went down. But first, I wanted to congratulate our 16 Region 5 alums that qualified to NCAAs as either an individual or on a team. Amelia Huntley from Florida, Rachel Dixon from Georgia, Shay Mahoney from Alabama, Michaela Burton from Arkansas, Lexi Priestman from LSU, Grayson Stanley from LSU, Megan Schulwenhofer from Nebraska, Anastasia Webb from Oklahoma, Bree Showers from Oklahoma, Nia Dennis from UCLA, and we had a few seniors compete in their last NCAA competition, Amanda Wellick from Arkansas, Corey Rettenmacher from Kentucky, Katie Carlisle from Kentucky, Grace Williams from Nebraska, Morgan Lane from North Carolina, and Brianna Brown from the University of Michigan. Thank you all for representing Region 5 and your schools like champions, and that just shows how strong our region is with that many kids qualifying and being part of teams competing at the NCAA Championship. Now to help us break down what went down in St. Louis is a former UCLA Bruin who last weekend attended her first NCAA Championships since helping her Bruins win the title in 2010. A former Region 5 athlete, now coach and gym owner, Anna Lee. Anna, welcome to our podcast.
Thanks. I'm super excited to be a part of it.
While many of us were coaching at level 7-8 regionals, including your parents, you were taking in the big show of college women's gymnastics. First, for those who have never attended one of these competitions, can you describe what an NCAA championship is like for a spectator?
Well, it was my first time going to watch NCAAs. The first time for me actually being in the stands. So it was a totally different perspective. It's super loud. It's a lot of fun. Every school, like the fans are all sitting together in their groups and doing their cheers from the schools. So it was just a lot of fun. I sat with UCLA, of course, because that's what I was wearing and that's who I'm representing. And it was just a very cool experience to be a part of it, supporting the girls after every routine and doing the cheers. So it's a totally different experience from the elite world and the JO world at a competition.
What was this experience like compared to being out there and winning an NCAA championship? I mean, I've been part of an NCAA championship on the men's side. What was the experience like as an athlete in that NCAA championships?
The biggest part as an athlete is just the adrenaline and the energy within the team. I remember our saying in 2010 was staying in our Bruin bubble and just actually really feeling like you're surrounded with your teammates and your coaches and just having that fire the entire time of the competition is just something that is very different compared to any other competition. And it's just totally different when you have a support system with you, and it's like you're not alone when you're doing your routine. You're a part of a team, you're doing it for others. So it's a lot of fun. It's totally different than any other competition experience that I've been through.
So you would say it's more kind of an adrenaline, high energy thing than contrasted to maybe like Olympic trials or a JO championships where there's a little bit more nerves and anxiety?
Right. There is definitely a lot of pressure still. And it's a totally different type of pressure. I think it's because it's more of a strong team atmosphere. I did better when I had pressure when it was for my team versus pressure for myself. So I think that was the big difference of it, because on my last events or before I competed, Val would even come up to me and just flat out tell me, hey, 5. And as much as I actually hated that feeling, it actually made me perform better because I wanted to do it for my team versus just thinking about it for myself, thinking, hey, you have to hit this or you don't get to go to Olympic trials. It's still a lot of pressure, but it's a totally different mindset because of the excitement behind it for your team.
Well, I just want to know, Anna, would you do that with everybody or just you? Because that's kind of an intense kind of pressure to be like, we need a 995 or we lose.
I think it probably depends on the person. I know I anchored a lot and I was towards the end of the lineup, but if she knew that I did better under extra pressure, then that's probably why she did it.
I've talked to you several times about that. You went to her and actually changed a few of the lineups because they weren't working, and you felt yourself better maybe as the lead off. Can you just talk a little bit about that probably and helped win that national title that year?
Yes, that was the big game changer for our team. Our team was very strong on all 3 events, but when it came to beam, I was the anchor. And maybe like the first 3 kids would always struggle at the beginning, and then the last few kids would all hit. And so halfway through season, I asked Val, could we reverse the lineup? I wanted to be that solid starter, and I wanted to try to see if we can get everyone to calm down and just try it out in the middle of season. And once she agreed to it, and we reversed the lineup, and ever since then we went 197 and above, so we just kept it the whole time. And it was kind of difficult because as much as I wanted to anchor it for my all-around score, I wanted it for the team the most because I wanted to win that NCAA championship.
Well, speaking of NCAA championships, as most already know, UCLA took the title over Oklahoma this past year by the very small margin on the final balance beam routine of Peng Peng Lee with a perfect 10. She had 2 perfect 10s in the last 2 rotations, but needed a 9.95, if I'm not mistaken, to take that title and put up the perfect 10. Her last NCAA routine of her career. What was that final rotation like for you and the UCLA fans sitting up there watching?
For me, I knew that UCLA was strong on beam. So I actually felt pretty confident, even though I know how hard it is to end on beam. But it was really stressful because, Koshin did fall in she was 2nd or 3rd up. So I knew, everyone knows the rest have to hit. But I was confident in the UCLA's beam lineup, and I really just felt like they could do it. And I can't believe how it ended.
Do you think that Miss Val went up to Peng Peng and told her, like, hey, you need a 9.975 to win? Like, you think that was a conversation they had before her beam routine? Like, you had said she had done with you in the past?
Probably not, because I don't think everyone knew exactly how close it was. I mean, no one had any idea really if it was even possible for UCLA to catch up. Everyone in the stands were even trying to calculate it and try to figure out, is a perfect 10 even good enough, or would they still be short? So I'm pretty sure, especially with Peng's last routine of her career, I'm pretty sure Val just told her to soak up every moment of it.
And as I was watching the meet, I felt like the scoring almost at times seemed a little arbitrary. Now, I'm not talking about Peng Peng Lee's routine. It was a very good routine, deserving of a 10. But just some of the 9.9s and 9.95s, when you were sitting there watching there, and I realize college is way different than JO, and I'm not asking it to be like that. But did you feel like sometimes the scores seemed a little off throughout the meet?
I felt like for some schools and some rotations, it was a little bit off. In general, from day one, I actually thought the scores were a little bit tight from prelims, but it was pretty consistent. For the NCAA championship day, I feel like some scores were
events stuck out as being more off than others.
I think vault, because there were some really good vaults that I feel like should have been credited versus some vaults that were obviously not stuck, which makes a big difference in scoring, that went a pretty high score. So I felt like there wasn't a big range versus like good vaults and okay vaults.
Yeah. I think ever since they switched the full going to the 995, then it's almost like, I get what they were trying to do, but it made the margin that much smaller to differentiate. I feel like they don't have the tools to do that when, I don't know, because they want to reward the higher scoring vaults by nature.
Right. And I feel like I saw there were lots of stuck 1.5s and doubles that I feel like should have been credited way higher in scoring and not as close to the fulls that had the hops.
Right.
I feel like the level is almost the same as 8 years ago in college. However, the only big difference that I probably would like to see is something more difficult than a full dismount off beam.
Yes, I'm over it. No more aerial fulls. No more aerial fulls or gainer fulls.
Right. But overall, I mean, the difficulty has pretty much been the same. Some bar routines I feel like are pretty simple, and as clean as they are, I think they should have a little more difficulty, like the Shaposh Bail AA dismount. If people are doing way more skills, a huge ray and a Shaposh half and extra skills in there, I feel like they should at least be a little more credited versus just a plain Shaposh Bail AA dismount and scoring a perfect 10. But I mean, it is based off of being how clean you are and how perfect you are and what you do.
The goal is to be clean, hit the handstand, stick the dismounts. But then when you put up a Peng Peng bar routine, or you put up a Maggie Nichols bar routine, or you put an E.B. Price bar routine out there, and they don't get, I mean, granted, E.B. and Maggie, they got 10s, tied for the championship. Obviously, Peng Peng scored pretty well on her routine both in days. You take those and then you look at other routines and you're like, they're scoring not much lower than a 10, a 995, 9975, but they're doing more watered down gymnastics. I get the idea, but it just bothers me because I enjoy watching bars. It's my favorite event, and I love watching the big routines. I mean, Peng Peng, I think by far is my favorite routine in college gymnastics. Just the full twisting pack, and just being able to do skills that most people don't do. I think is cool, and I wish more would do it.
This, of course, is the same problem that led to the open-ended code that we have now in Elite. People were doing harder routines in the 90s. And so they started readjusting start values and things like that going to 2000. That's ultimately in the 90s, people had very difficult routines and they were scoring the same or lower than those with less difficult. So it's kind of, you can't have it both ways. The only option would be to make the start value not be a 9.5 and work your bonus from there, but make it be a 9.3 and work your bonus. And that would maybe show more differentiation. But at the same time, it would possibly alienate athletes that compete in college that aren't capable of having more than 5/10 bonus in their routines. So it's kind of difficult, I guess, to reward the difficulty unless they added some up to level deductions, composition deductions like they do in JO.
Right. I feel like that would be the only part that they could do is a composition deduction, because it's pretty much the same thing. You have a routine like Pangs and EBs and Maggie's that has all the big difficulty, and granted, they are very clean, which is why they can score well too. But you compare that to someone that gets a 9.95, that's only half-tenth lower, that's doing a much easier routine. So if only thing, it would be like a composition.
Well, and frankly, it's almost biased what they did in college and in JO with vault. So we have in JO, you get rewarded for more difficult vaults. The 10-1 start, but then they didn't downgrade floor or beam or bars. So you can still be doing a very easy, simple, double pike, front full front pike, double tuck floor routine, and that's still just as good as your double layout and full in, like Michaela Skinner's floor routine, for example, with the double and a full in at the end. So it doesn't make sense that there's a 9.9 start value on vault for a full when there isn't on the other 3 events. So maybe if they kind of changed it where that cookie cutter routine would get a 9.95 start value, and then you do an E and that gets you the extra half tenth or something, then that might keeping the events even.
Right. Yeah. No, I totally agree. Even with floor, having an E pass should make a big difference as well.
Aside from the scoring, any things that stood out that seemed a little off, or not how it should have been.
Not how it should have been.
Or
yeah. I don't know. I just think, some scoring should have been higher and some could have been a little lower, but just based off of the routines that I saw. But overall, I mean, everyone is corralled and stuck in their corrals, so it's not like there's anything crazy that happened outside of the routines and everything.
Do you think that is a weird rule, the whole corral system? Like in the past, they were able to kind of run down and cheer. I thought that was a weird change, honestly.
For usually the bigger competitions, we were always stuck in our corrals, which is something that when I was at UCLA, we actually practiced in our gym, because during the season, you're allowed to run back and forth and be on the floor with them. So right. Towards the end of season, even in practice, we would practice being corralled, because it is a difference in the environment. So but it does look, it's cleaner on the floor, and that's what they do. I know they tried doing that for JOs as well now.
It felt really weird last year, honestly. Like we were cattle. Like the coaches couldn't be out on the. I don't know. I didn't care for it.
I mean, it was very weird for JOs to try to do that.
Yes, and I remember even because the vault corral was at the beginning of the vault runway, so you were watching from a distance. I think that was a good vault. Not really sure. I don't know. It changed the dynamic a little bit. So I think with college too, I don't know. I don't know how necessary it is, but I guess it does create a sense of order behind it, so it doesn't look so chaotic out on the floor, and you can focus more on the routines.
Right.
UCLA likes to dance. It's a very, group that they're always posting videos and they're, and things and dancing around. Compare maybe your team to this team in that aspect, and kind of what you guys did from your perspective and to where they are now, where it's more free, dancey, out there having a good time.
Actually, it's pretty similar. Watching UCLA and how they act out on the floor is, very similar to how we were. I'm not sure if anyone noticed, and now looking back, I hope nobody noticed, but me and Vanessa Zamaripa were running around playing raptor tag on the floor before the competition. It was something that we thought was fun and funny, and we basically would just run around looking like a dinosaur. So so it was just things that we did to be goofy and loosen up and just have fun. I realized that that's how we performed our best, when we just thought it was fun and enjoying the moment versus being stressed and nervous. So UCLA has always been like that. We've always had dancers on the team as well. So it's just something that we always did in the locker rooms, and I have videotapes that I still have of us all dancing and being crazy in the locker room. So I think it's very similar, but I'm not sure if it's a lot different with other schools, but you can definitely tell UCLA is a lot looser when it comes to that. We were very confident and had that fun, relaxed feeling. When I was on beam at the end, I even did a booty shake just as a joke in my routine before I dismounted. And just having those kind of personalities really helps the team to relax and just think it's all just fun.
It looked like Oklahoma was going to do it again. They were solid on all 4 events, but leave it to UCLA on an event that obviously is very strong, and leave it up to an athlete like Peng Peng to pull it out for UCLA.
I was rooting for the Bruins all season. I love their gymnastics and always been a fan of Ohashi as well. So I was super pleased that they were able to pull it off.
Thanks again, Anna, for joining us on our podcast today. And congrats to our 2018 Level 9 and 10 Dream Teams. And good luck to you as you represent Region 5 at Nationals. All our Region 5 championship videos and interviews will be up by the end of this week.
You can check out our Best of Region 5 Championships video now up on our website. Our 2018 Region 5 Top 10 Favorite Leos, numbers 6 through 10, is now up, with number 1 through 5 still to come. We will have our annual Region 5 Meet the Dream Team videos, sights and sounds from Level 9 Regionals, and updates from Level 9 Easterns before we head to Cincinnati for our weekend coverage of the 2018 Level 10 Nationals, coming up next week. Support the Region 5 Insider by becoming a patron or shopping for those gymnastics necessities in our Amazon store on our website. Links to both are in our show notes. Follow us on all our social media accounts for up-to-date information on what's going on in Region 5. On our next Region 5 podcast, we will break up, down, and all around the Level 9 Easterns and JO Nationals, as well as announce our 2018 Region 5 All-Star Team. Thanks again for joining us, and as we say in our region, what time is it? Me time! What time is it? Me time! Take it out! 5! Take it out! 5!
I'm a Region 5, we are burning fire. Say 1, 2, ready or not, here I come, coming in hot. I'ma take my body for a spin.